Good morning, my sweet friends. I miss you. Today, we are going to have a little language arts lesson, and then Maximus tried to join. He really wishes he was in our class. We're going to have a little language arts lesson with some words that are in the story that I'm going to read to you today. And then we're going to have a quick story, one that we all know and love. So, let's start off with our good morning song. Good morning, good morning, good morning, how are you? I'm fine, and I hope that you are too. I'm so glad to see you. I almost couldn't wait. Can you smile that smile and make today great? All right, you guys, our language arts lesson for today, our phonics language arts lesson, has to do with base words that end in a final E and what we do when we're adding a vowel suffix. What is a vowel suffix? Well, we know what our vowels are, A, E, I, O, U, and Y. Y is more often a vowel than it is a consonant. But it can be both, right? And a suffix is anything added on to a base word that changes the meaning of the word, changes the tense of the word. For instance, jump, if we add ing to the end of jump, ing, that means it's happening right now. It changes the meaning of the word, the tense. In tense, past tense, future tense, present tense, that just means when it's happening. Okay, so when we have a base word that ends in a final E, when you are writing, it's important to remember that we drop the final E when we add a vowel suffix. Two really common vowel suffixes that we use, and there's a lot of vowel suffixes, but two very common ones that we use all the time in our writing is ing and ed. So if the base word ends in a final E, we drop the final E before adding a vowel suffix. So give plus ing, drop the final E, and it becomes giving. Giving. My G didn't show up very well. My next word is love. It ends in a final E. We're going to add the vowel suffix ed to make it loved. So I drop the final E before I add ed, and it becomes loved. Loved. Now, in addition to that rule, if your base word, remember give is our base word for giving, love is our base word for loved. If the base word ends in a Y, a single Y that's making a vowel sound, but it's not part of a vowel team. This is the single Y, and it's usually making the E sound like at the end of carry. In most cases, because there are always exceptions to our spelling rules, aren't there? In most cases, if the base word ends in a Y, a single Y, we change the Y to an I before adding the vowel suffix. So that's pretty important. So I'm going to change in carry. I want to make it carried with ed. I have to change the Y to an I before I add ed. Carried. Change the Y to an I before adding a vowel suffix in most cases. Drop the final E of a base word before adding a vowel suffix. To note, I said a single Y making a vowel sound that is usually E. Make sure it's not a vowel team. That Y is part of a vowel team or a double vowel. Like in foundations, we call it a double vowel. A vowel team, AY, those are together. They're a team. So we wouldn't change that to an I. We leave it alone because A and Y are together. So that's why in play plus ing, playing, the Y stays a Y. Playing, playing. Okay, so that's our tip for today is when we are writing and spelling words, we have to think about the base word. If you were using the word giving, you have to think about the base word give. It ends in a final E. You're adding a vowel suffix, ing. You drop the E before adding a vowel suffix. If the base word ends in a Y, a single Y that's making the vowel sound E, change it to an I before adding a vowel suffix. If the Y is in a vowel team, you leave it alone and just add the vowel suffix. Okay, that's our little mini lesson for today. I hope to see this being applied to your writing. And now you'll see why I used the words that I used. Give, giving, love, loved, carry, carried, play, playing. I found them in a beloved story, The Giving Tree. So as I told you, we're moving into a unit writing about reading. And in our reading, we have to get deeper connections with all of our stories. That's how books, haven't you heard how people say, oh, I love to read books because I can close my eyes and they take me to a faraway land. Well, that's happening because they've made a really deep connection with the book. So we're going to work on those skills. So The Giving Tree by Shel Silverstein. And most of us know Shel Silverstein for his poetry. Where the Sidewalk Ends is a really popular book that he's written. But this book is not a poem, but it is beautiful, like poetry is. But it's a short story. And I want you to be thinking about, while you're reading this, about perspective. Perspective means how someone sees the story. I want you to think about this story as if you were the tree in the story and why the tree does things that he does. Okay? Once there was a tree. And she loved a little boy. And every day the boy would come and he would gather her leaves. And make them into crowns and play king of the forest. He would climb up her trunk and swing from her branches and eat apples. And they would play hide and go seek. And when he was tired, he would sleep in her shade. Remember, you are thinking as if you are the tree, how the tree is feeling, and why the tree does things it does. And the boy loved the tree. Very much. And the tree was happy. But time went by. And the boy grew older. And the tree was often alone. Then one day the boy came to the tree, and the tree said, "Come, boy, come and climb up my trunk and swing from my branches and eat apples and play in my shade and be happy." "I am too big to climb and play," said the boy. "I want to buy things and have fun. I want some money. Can you give me some money?" "I'm sorry," said the tree, "but I have no money. I have only leaves and apples." "Take my apples, boy, and sell them in the city. Then you will have money and you will be happy." And so the boy climbed up the tree and gathered her apples and carried them away. And the tree was happy. Why is the tree happy? But the boy stayed away for a long time, and the tree was sad. And then one day the boy came back, and the tree shook with joy. And she said, "Come, boy, climb up my trunk and swing from my branches and be happy." "I am too busy to climb trees," said the boy. "I want a house to keep me warm," he said. "I want a wife, and I want children, and so I need a house. Can you give me a house?" "I have no house," said the tree. "The forest is my home, but you may cut off my branches and build a house. Then you will be happy." And so the boy cut off her branches and carried them away to build his house. And the tree was happy. But the boy stayed away for a long time, and when he came back, the tree was so happy she could hardly speak. "Come, boy," she whispered, "come and play." "I am too old and sad to play," said the boy. "I want a boat that will take me far away from here. Can you give me a boat?" "Cut down my trunk and make a boat," said the tree. "Then you can sail away and be happy." And so the boy cut down her trunk and made a boat and sailed away. And the tree was happy, but not really. After a long time, the boy came back again. "I'm sorry, boy," said the tree. "I have nothing left to give you. My apples are gone." "Well, my teeth are too weak for apples," said the boy. "My branches are gone," said the tree. "You cannot swing on them." "I'm too old to swing on branches," said the boy. "My trunk is gone," said the tree. "You cannot climb." "I'm too tired to climb," said the boy. "I am sorry," sighed the tree. "I wish that I could give you something, but I have nothing left. I am just an old stump. I am sorry." "I don't need very much now," said the boy. "Just a quiet place to sit and rest. I am very tired." "Well," said the tree, straightening herself up as much as she could. "Well, an old stump is good for sitting and resting. Come, boy, sit down. Sit down and rest." And the boy did. And the tree was happy. The end. Why do you think the tree was happy? What do you think, guys? The tree went from this in the beginning to this in the yet it's still happy. Why do you think the tree is still happy? If you're thinking as if you're the tree, why would the tree still be happy, even though it has nothing left of it? It's a pretty big question, isn't it? Does the tree remind you of anyone in your life? That's another big connection question, connecting you to the story, connecting you to the text. The tree reminds me of someone in my life. It reminds me of my mom. And if the tree is my mom, then I would be the little boy, because my mom will do anything for me, even if it costs her something. When I was growing up, I know that my mom would always buy my sister and I our school clothes and our school supplies and our holiday gifts before she would ever do something for herself. And I think that's just what moms and dads and grandmas and grandpas do. It's because they love us so much, they put us first, and to see us happy makes them happy. So, I think that might be why the tree was actually happy, even though it ended up being a stump in the end, right? The tree was happiest when it was able to make the boy happy. And I think that that's just what parents do. They do everything they can to make sure that their little boys and little girls are happy, even if it costs them a tree trunk or branches, right? Okay, well, that was The Giving Tree by Shel Silverstein. And thank you for taking on the perspective of the tree. When you are enjoying reading at home, try and think about the perspective or why someone is feeling the way they're feeling. Try to put yourself in their shoes. It will make you feel closer to the story and closer to the characters. All right, you guys, I hope you have a great day. I love you and I miss you.